Good day, Psych student! I am Cassandra Mariel F. Matundan and I will present to you about existentialism and its therapy. First, let us define what is existentialism. Existentialism is a philosophy that emphasizes individual existence, freedom, and choice. It is the view that humans define their own meaning in life and try to make rational decisions despite existing in an irrational universe. Next, let us define what is existential therapy. Existential therapy is a philosophical method of therapy that operates on the belief that inner conflict within a person is due to the individual's confrontation with the givens of existence. Now, let us tackle about timeline of existential therapy. Existential therapy developed out of the philosophies of Friedrich Nietzsche and Soren Kierkegaard. As one of the first existential philosophers, Kierkegaard theorized that human discontent could only be overcome through internal wisdom. Later, Nietzsche further developed the theory of existentialism by introducing the idea of free will and personal responsibility. And also, the famous existentialists are, number 1, Rollo. From existential theory to existential practice, most historians credit Rollo with formally introducing and integrating existential thought into American counseling and psychotherapy. Second is Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist prototype. And the third one is the Fritz and Laura Perls, from existential theory to Gestalt experiments. Fritz and Laura Perls can be seen as bringing specific therapy techniques into the domain of existential therapy. In essence, the Gestalt therapy movement is an extension of existential therapeutic thinking. Next is the theoretical principles of existentialism. First is the I am experience. The I am experience is the experience of being, of existing. For existentialists, the experience of being is often referred to as ontological experience. Ontos means to be and logical means the science of. Literally, then a major focus of existential therapy consists of exploring the immediate individual human experience. You might think of it as suddenly waking up and being completely turned into what's like to be alive, to exist, to be here right now in this particular moment in time. It follows that existential therapy is almost always in the service of self-awareness or self-discovery. However, unlike psychoanalysts, existentialists seek to expand client self-awareness rather than interpreting client unconscious processes. This is because existentialists believe that entirely of an individual's human experience is accessible to consciousness. It's not a matter of uncovering an elusive unconscious, but a matter of elucidating the conscious. Next is the daimonic. According to Rollo, the daimonic is any natural function which has the power to take over the whole person. Demon possession has historically been used to explain psychotic episode and is popularly referred to as demonic possession. However, May repeatedly emphasized that demonic and demonicure not the same concept, as in the response to criticism from Carl Rogers. The last one is the nature of anxiety. The existential perspective identifies two of anxiety. Number 1 is the normal anxiety, and number 2 is the neurotic anxiety. First, the normal anxiety. Normal anxiety is directly proportional to the situation. It is within our awareness, not requiring repression or other defensive processes, and can be used creatively. On the other hand, the neurotic anxiety is disproportionate to the situation. It is usually repressed, denied, or otherwise avoided, and it's not used to creative or constructive purposes. Instead, it is destructive. Next is the existential psychodynamics. Similar to psychoanalytic theories, existentialists believe that humans are in intrapsychic conflict with powerful forces. However, instead of helping clients cope with the instinctual drives or rework internalized object relations, the existential therapist helps clients face and embrace ultimate concerns of existence. In existential psychotherapy, Irving Yalom described 4 ultimate concerns relevant to psychotherapy. These concerns are death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. First is death. Death is knowable and unknowable. We will die. It is only a question of when, where, and how. Death is simply part of the reality of life. Despite the imposing and potentially debilitating fact that death is constantly rumbling beneath the surface of life, confronting and dealing with death is also potentially therapeutic mechanism of personal change. Next is freedom. Existentialist Sartre believed humans are condemned to freedom, and existential therapies have followed suit by articulating the many ways in which freedom is an anxiety-laden burden. This is the first and primary burden of freedom. If you are free, you are simultaneously responsible. Every action becomes a choice. There is no one to blame for your mistakes. Overall, the essential point of freedom and responsibility for existentialists is this: you and you alone are the author of your experiences. Don't bother pointing the finger of blame at anyone but yourself. Next is isolation. The existential assumption is that every individual is fundamentally alone. In Yalom's words, there is an unbridgeable gulf between oneself and any other being. This is a terrible truth. We enter life as an independent being and we take leave from life alone. This is the nature of existential isolation. Lastly, the meaninglessness. The classic existential crisis as existential neurosis occurs when an individual faces the question, what is the meaning of my life? Seeking life's meaning can be an agonizing process. Consequently, it's common for many of us to just stay busy with daily activities instead of grappling with life's biggest question. Life has no inherent meaning. It's up to you to invent, create, or discover meaning in your life. Your challenge is to find meaning in an apparently meaningless world. So, the question is life meaningful? Frankel claims that humans have a primary motivational pull toward meaning, and yet, the question remains, is there any inherent meaning in life toward which humans can strive? Frankel is specific about the contrasting theoretical perspective. We do not just attach and attribute meaning to things, but rather find them. We do not invent them, we detect them. Frankel's approach to helping clients find meaning in life is logotherapy. Logos means meaning, therapy means healing. There are a number of paths toward meanings that humans can discover and through which they can thereby resolve their existential neurosis. The following possibilities are derived from Yalom and Frankel. The first one is altruism. Clients can choose to serve others through kindness and unselfishness. Second is dedication to a cause. Clients can dedicate themselves to political, religious, medical, familial, scientific, or other causes. The key is for the cause to take the person beyond selfishness. The third is creativity. Clients can choose to create something beautiful, powerful, and meaningful. The fourth is transcendence. Guilt, depression, personal salvation, and other self-oriented goals can be put aside to pursue selflessness. Number 5 is suffering. Clients can face suffering with optimism, dignity, and integrity. The number 6 is God or religion. Clients can focus on serving God or their religion instead of serving self or pursuing material goals. Number 7 is hedonism. Clients can choose to live life to the fullest each moment, to drink up the excitement, joys, and sorrows of daily life. And lastly, the self-actualization. Clients can dedicate themselves to self-improvement, to meeting their potential. Last is the practice of existential therapy. There are 3 phases of existential therapy. The first phase is the dreamer owns the dream. Whether he wants to or not, the simple existence technique only amplifies reality as it is. The second phase is that therapist does not interpret reality for the client, but only facilitates. Interpretation is the job of the client, not the therapist. Last is the third phase. As the client sinks into the process, he begins to feel connections. These connections fit into his personal reality like pieces of a puzzle. It can feel like an aha experience. The client's insight represents his unfinished business. For the Gestalt therapist, the unfinished business is dominating the client's life. Now, as awareness increases, the client can take control and guide his life in the present rather than spending energy battling the unfinished business from the past. At the end of the therapy, When the therapist asks the client to recreate his dream, the client is empowered to actively live his life, rather than being an automation trudging forward without an independent spirit. Again, I am Cassandra Muriel F. Matundan. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye!